we are facing the aging society, and Japanese population is decreasing. So we really need strong partners. And because it is obvious, Japan cannot live alone. And also, only Japanese, we cannot maintain Japanese economy. So that's why now Japanese government shifted their policy, and now we are trying to lure more and more foreign talents to Japanese job market. So as I mentioned, we like to also train Uganda IT engineers, and I'd like to bring them to Japanese market. Maybe that is the first area of the future cooperation. And secondly, it's a human-to-human cooperation. But secondly, also I want to encourage the company-to-company cooperations, collaborations. So since 2 years ago, we started to support a startup ecosystem in this country, and we conducted Ninja business competition. Ninja stands for Next Innovation with Japan. And we called the applications from startups 2 times, and we selected some Ugandan startups. We think that through their business, we can achieve SDGs together, and also we can match those Ugandan startups with Japanese investors or Japanese companies. So NDO Direct is one of the startup companies we are supporting, and also we are supporting Easy Matatu, Akelo Banka, Chap Chap, Patacente, M-Scan, and also EcoPlastyle and Z2. So now we are somehow trying to closely work with the private sector also.
Okay, and now also, I don't know, there are some projects that I believe you can break down for us. I've only broken down the one of the rice.
Yep.
I talked about one of the flyover, which you said is one of the biggest projects. Is there any other project that someone can as well get to know of deeper?
So we are also heavily working with the Ministry of Health. Of course, even before COVID-19, we have been supporting the Ministry of Health, especially we are strengthening the regional referral hospitals.
Okay.
And it's 2 ways. Physically, we are expanding and improving the facilities of regional referral hospitals. Last year, we commissioned improvement of Lula, Gulu, and Arua regional referral hospitals. That is one area. And also, we are improving the hospital management through technical cooperation. So we dispatch Japanese experts, and now they are trying to promote a quality hospital management. We installed the Kaizen approach. Kaizen is a Japanese word meaning a continuous improvement. And this is coming from Toyota factory. Toyota is becoming one of the mega companies today because of bottom-up continuous improvement approaches. And we believe that this approach can also be adapted to the public sector. And we choose regional referral hospital management as one of the pilot areas. So we are continuously improving the hospital management.
Okay. Now let's also now break it down here into how the Japanese have been able to at least strengthen these relations with Uganda. At the time when we want to believe in such relations, it's a two-way thing. How do Ugandans benefit, and then how do the Japanese benefit from such relations? If you could break down that for us as well.
Okay. So, for example, in the case of rice development, of course, we can improve the rice productivity through our cooperation with our counterparts in Uganda, then Ugandan people can benefit with a quality, cheaper rice, and also they can export Ugandan rice to other countries. Then the Ugandan country can get a profit from the export. That is one area. And from Japanese side, for us, mainly maybe business areas. So we need a decent workforce, and also we need a market. So together with Ugandan private companies, if we can do a lot of matching between Japanese private company and Ugandan private companies, then maybe Japanese companies can expand their business to Uganda and also other African markets. Okay. So maybe one area is also IT. We did a pilot project last year. We asked some Japanese IT companies to do a trial offshore business in Uganda. So we selected some of the Ugandan IT companies and IT engineers, and Japanese companies asked some, offshore works to the counterpart Ugandan companies, and also reaction was very positive. So we want to also expand this kind of business relationship between two countries. Okay.
From the education point of view, do we see any people doing some Japanese courses in the country here?
Currently, Embassy of Japan, together, I think they are running Japanese language lessons. It's a kind of a trial, but I'm expecting this successful, and I hope sincerely near future Makerere University start Japanese language courses officially.
So there are chances there, because I've also been able to see somewhere here where on one of the social media accounts as you were with the university.
Yes, yes.
So those are the initiatives that you're bringing in.
One of that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And now with the future looking so bright for Uganda and Japanese relations, I can only wait for what comes up next. But then looking at JICA, Uganda now, as more of a corporation, I would want to believe. When you look at your journey in the country, do you look back at some of the challenges and say these have been a hard nut to crack?
Challenges, okay. Of course, one of the challenges is climate change. I came to Uganda in 2018.
Okay.
Compared with that year, the climate already changed. So many heavy rains, even in Kampala. And that also negatively affects the agriculture industry, this country. And also so many natural disasters, landslides and flooding. So those are the challenges. So we need to tackle with together. And another thing is, of course, as I mentioned, it's a positive thing in some young people. And education facility is still limited. And the number of teachers are still limited. And also health facilities, so the social infrastructure should be strengthened to accommodate this growing bright futures of Uganda.
Mr. Takayuki, we would also want to know now of what economic impact does the presence of the Japan International have onto Uganda? Because we're now looking at the economic part of it. And when such relations come through, economies as big as Japan, you would expect our economy that is actually currently now coming up back, it's actually in a recovery mode. If you're to look at the economic impact that arises for us, what are the key things to pick out? And what are those things that we can look at and say, well, with this relation, our economy can actually stand on a strong foot?
from Japanese experience,
Okay.
just I repeatedly say, human resource is very important. So I know that now Uganda started to develop oil, and those, of course, will benefit a lot. But if I look at other African countries who has a rich oil resources, but in the rural area, people are still suffering.
Okay.
So I encourage Ugandan people, please don't stop. Please continue to study, work hard, and please be a quality talent. Then you can expand your business multiple times than just depends on the natural resources. So human resource is a key, and that's what Japan did in the past.
Okay, to focus more on the human resource. So that
Yes.
means we also need to focus more on the human resource. Okay, and then to the young people out there, I think you can as well help me give out some advice to the young people. People my age, I think we are now making up a very huge percentage in the population in the country. But the challenges that we are facing are quite many as well. But if you're to advise accordingly to maybe how the Japanese young people, young men my age, live a life and then focus on the success, which kind of advice would you give to a young
Ugandan people? I think compared with decades ago, I think you are really in lucky situations.
Okay.
Because of internet, you can have free access to quality education. You can have good access to the job opportunities. Through internet, you can learn coding, or you can learn language for free. So it's just a matter of decision or will. If you really have a strong dream, and if you are really determined, then there are so many things you can do under current situations in Uganda.
Okay. And then lastly, I would want to ask a question posing to the technology. You've brought in something to do with technology development.
Yes, yes.
We're looking at developments in technology. And speaking of that, countries like Japan, China, most probably United Kingdom or the USA have at least stepped up in technology. Ours is actually on that journey. We're on that journey of technology. And of what importance, if you're to look at that, of what impact has the technology got on the rise of, let's say, a country like Japan, that we as Ugandans can pick from there and embrace it?
Okay. So let me tell my personal opinion, because I'm not an expert.
Okay.
But I believe that just to have fun is very important. For example, in Japan, many young people, they love animation, they love a video game or smartphone games, and also they just love a computer, just for their fun. And they devoted their time and energy to enjoy themselves. But this kind of attitude really accelerates the development of the technologies in such kind of areas, or entertainment, or computing, and also science and technologies. Because just the young people, they continue to do what they think is interesting. So just please find out what you love, and just devote your time and energy to improve your interest.
Okay. All right, now let me give you 2 minutes to give your final remarks as we're summing up with our discussion to the viewers out there, and then to what they should expect from the Japan International Cooperation Agency, Uganda.
Okay, so finally, sincerely, I'd like to say thank you to Ugandan people, because last year, December, Ugandan Parliament, they adopted a resolution to appreciate JICA and Japan's contribution to Uganda.
Okay.
It was a great moment for me. I think I can say it's the best moment as a JICA personnel. And this kind of resolution was a first ever in the Parliament of Uganda to appreciate individual development partners. So we are very proud of that. And also from JICA's perspective, all over the world, Uganda's parliament is the first parliament who really adopted such kind of resolutions.
And you're grateful for that?
Very much, yeah. So I think that we have been supporting more than our counterparts. Really, they appreciated and they understood our way of working together with Ugandan friends. So on behalf of JICA and as a chief representative of JICA, I commit to be a good friends of Uganda and continue to work together for a better future of two countries.
All right. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for making it this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That is UCHIYAMA Takayuki, who is the chief representative JICA Uganda, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, and we were looking at the Japan relations with Uganda and how they have spurred a development in the country and of what economic impact it has to Uganda. A lot of developments are coming up and a lot have been so far done in the country. And with that, I am heading to another SMB local update. Yesterday, the Kampala City Traders Association met up, had a presser at their offices in downtown Kampala with some of the traders, and they were commenting on the rising in the commodity prices. Let's have a look at this. I'll be right back. Good morning.
With the government